as we are coming to have a conversation with you, we thought it would be a nice for this week for you to be the first
Oh yeah.
people to receive the 12th edition of the City
Ooh,
Chronicle.
beautiful.
hell
Looking
yeah.
forward
Out
to
of the
it.
print.
Fresh out the prints. There you go.
Thank you. I try to save these somewhere.
Sweet.
I would love if y'all had past issues, like after it's 2 issues old, you can go back to the old ones somewhere.
I can
Nora
give
is
you
a
all the
walking
copies
library.
of all the
She's
issues
a walking
you want.
library.
I would love a copy of them. Yes, I'd love that.
Okay, I think I am missing a few right now because I've been giving away some today, but I can give you from 4 onwards.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would be fantastic. This is really nice.
This thing is, Nora, I've got 1, 2, and 3 on me.
Oh, amazing job, Frank.
Oh, perfect.
Incredible teamwork.
Place them here on the ground for you. I'm going to load your pockets with them.
Yeah.
Oh, you made an opinion piece on me.
Oh yeah, oh that is kind of awkward. We did write about, I did write about Brian this week, didn't I?
76, MRP 195.
Oh, fuck, I said some terrible things as well.
I've got 680 showing you 26 MRP 195. Advise if it's from Fleet or the restaurant too.
Now, I wrote an opinion piece about Gunnar Kane last week, so I thought it was only fair to
Oh
about
yeah.
yourself, Mr. Knight.
Wait, did you wrote that last week, or are you writing it next week? For next week?
I wrote about Gunnar Kane last week.
Oh, okay.
And then yeah, I did a little short one on the my impressions of the first week of Brian Knight this week.
Ooh, this is a longer one too.
It's the longest one we've had.
I love these. I really do.
It is genuinely getting to the point. When we started doing this, Mr. Knight, me and Nora would be running around trying to get enough stories to fill like 9 to 10 pages. We wrote this week's paper and we still have like 15 stories on the back.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it's really good at the moment. It's a nice problem
Dispatch,
to
can you
have.
mark 445?
Yeah. Well, let's get up on top of this build. Oh, do you guys have food and drink by any chance?
Rest of the papers there for you, by
Okay,
the way.
she
for
got
Nora's.
that.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, you've got from 4 until 11, I think there.
Let me see. I may not have space for all of them. You know what? I'll drop some radios. If anyone needs any of those, and then you can get this repair kit right there.
Do you want like a pouch to put them in? I can
Oh
give you-
yes, I would love one. I didn't know there was you can put them in pouches.
Yeah, that's
Oh
how I have all
my
these copies.
god. That is the coolest thing ever.
The answer to the food and drink is no, on account of me just spending $1,000 on 5 bottles of water.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, the food problem is getting really bad.
Just like the old days. It went okay for about 3 to 4 months, and now it's going back to what it was about 5 months ago.
Are there 2 issue 5s?
No, there shouldn't. Maybe I gave you 2 copies, or maybe we made a mistake
different
on some of them.
Yeah,
it
they're
might
not.
be, Nora, that we have 2 different references sometimes, so it's the
Yeah.
speed, don't we? Or, like this
Oh
week,
yeah. The references that.
yeah, because this week, Mr. Knight, we will hit. This will be by the time we give away all these, it'll be 3,000 copies handed out to the city. So when we do it, we have to make 2 references because honestly, it's about 3 hours in a liquid library otherwise.
Understood. That makes sense. 10, 11, and 12 is the newest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
It looks like. Do you have a copy of number 3?
Sorry, I'm gonna take this call.
Definitely put number 3 there somewhere.
Maybe I dropped it. Let me see. 4, 5. I don't see a number 3 unless I'm blind and I...
If not, we will drop one at the front door for you later
Oh,
on.
that would be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
Yeah, no problem.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you know what? It might be hidden in my pockets. Okay, it's fine. I can, I'll come by for... Oh, maybe it's on the ground. Nope, I guess not. All right, let's go
Very
ahead and
easily
pick
lost.
that up. All right, fantastic. All right.
Okay. Let's go have a conversation then.
Beautiful. All right, right up here.
Yeah, we normally get... Oh, I haven't been on this roof.
I'm not one that likes to hide in closed spaces. I think it's gives a very negative outlook as to who we are. The Marshals are no longer going to be hidden in a building, either up here or down south. Quite transparently, one of the biggest reasons why I decided to run for director was I saw a need. I've been a detective for about 15 years. I am the primary case builder for the Sanguine War. I was also the director for the MCU, which was the detective unit 8 years ago. Some of the current marshals and some of the detectives in both the LSPD and BCSO used to operate under me. I'm a strong believer in intelligence gathering, but also ensuring that cases don't become long-winded, endless, chasing the rabbit into the hole, but rather cases should be hitting the docket such that the DOJ can make a decision. I'm not one for W's or L's when it does come to docket cases. I don't think that's our job. Our job is to take evidence, probable cause, and have the jury, or in our case, the justices decide. Ultimately, I ran because in those 2 months, I took charge of managing the majority of cases. And when I mean manage, I mean ensure that cases were moving forward, whether it was a death, whether it was a case of terrorism. I very quickly came to learn that operations, cases surrounding folks like the Faceless were at a standstill. I can best describe it as follows. Were the Marshals looking into the Faceless? Yes. But looking into them mostly consisted of drinking tea. We had half a dozen incidents with operatives whose we had half a dozen cases where we had suspects, and some of which weren't even brought into interrogation. I began to ask the question, are we actually looking to stop their threat, or are we just pretending? And quite frankly, that's why I needed to run. And in the span of what amounted to 7 days, we have since conducted 3 operations, one of which I think you're very familiar of, as it is noted in, in this newspaper. That operation was built at a moment's notice. I learned about, we pretty much had to put that case together from 11 p.m. the night before to 11 a.m. the next day.
Oh, wow.
And we involved all departments. The government was made aware, both preemptively and post facto, in as far as, something was happening, and then afterwards, what exactly had taken place. And that operation was conducted in such a manner that we limited units to roughly about 15. So 15, Marshals, LSPD, and BCSO. So that was the first thing I wanted to do. Ensure that we included both departments because the previous administration kept everything behind lock and key. And when I say everything, I mean barely anything. Because they did not write reports.
Interesting.
Myself and detectives, prior to me becoming director, had to reestablish all the evidence, the majority of the evidence that should have been given to us by the marshals at the time. We were running blind. And after becoming director, I can tell you right now, there's barely any reports. We've had to reestablish them. Everything. If members of the Faceless showed up at my doorstep today, well, maybe not today, but a week ago, and wanted to turn themselves in, we could not even realistically arrest them. Because how unfortunate SASM had become over this past year. Now, this is not me saying fuck Gunnar Kane or fuck Richard Dark or fuck Barrett. But this is me saying that the entire establishment was in ruins and we are now going to rebuild, and we are not going to be using the excuse of, well, look at what the past administration did or the one before, because that we're not gonna lean on that script. No, we started acting the day of. And I think that energy is being seen and emanated throughout the state as our applications for marshals are rather enormous. We've already taken on ex-captain and what was effectively the chief of police, Ruth Brooke. And we have also taken in a late-night detective as well. We are operating virtually 24/7. We are, in addition, cleaning house. Because we do believe that information given to us by civilians, by entities, must be kept behind a lock and key for their protection and for protection of the state. But not in a way that the rest of the departments are in the dark, because without them, we cannot operate. Without the DOC, we cannot operate. Without the DOJ, we cannot operate. Without the sitting mayors, we cannot operate.
I think, yeah, it's very...
In fact, I will say without the press, we can't operate, right? This is not a Marshall problem. This is a us problem. And without the collective, these entities, these people, whose goal is to tear down this city, we will not be able to put them to a stop.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One alone can not do anything against anything.
You know how easy it is for entities like the Faceless, or even the Archivists, or any other ragtag terrorist organization or otherwise? You know what they lean on more than anything? It's leaning on disenfranchised individuals, of which there are many of. And what is the easiest way to disenfranchise them? By ensuring that those individuals are not involved. That when we run across a civilian on the side of the street and they get run over and we pay them no mind, that's how you disenfranchise. No, that individual needs to know why the Faceless are bad. In fact, this is a major lesson that I learned during the past Sanguine War. And few people know about this, and I would love to unpack more. Some will look at me and say, well, that's the guy that brought us to Sanguine. And they even to this day wonder why. Before I went to Sanguine and put my case file towards the Senate, who approved it, I was directed by then Axel Justice not to include the press. Ursula Leichenberg at the time, she used to run Weasel News. I involved her well early on, and she was denied. That was not my decision.
Really?
I wanted to let the entire city know why and galvanize them so that they would back the war, and I was denied that right, even though I was leading it. Because Axel Justice was the commissioner or FIBA. I don't even remember at this point. He was leagues higher than me in authority. And as such, in fact, I was reminded that I had galvanized so well prior to that I had members of different criminal organizations that wanted to back us, law enforcement, to fight those terrorists. They were ready to put their lives on the line, and against an external threat, people that were not even citizens of this state. But because they were denied information, the public was denied the whys, the reasons. They were denied access to information that showed that they were trafficking explosives and C4s, denied information that they were the ones blowing up government institutes, denied information that pointed at the fact that the upper echelon of that organization was eating their friends and family. They were cannibals. We had multiple deaths over there. In fact, the day of Sanguine, members inside of that building were eating our friends and family. But instead, because the doors were locked shut, the press was kept out, no one ever learned the truth. And that's not going to happen under my reign here. People will know who are the faceless. Why are they a threat? People will know what the archivists are doing and why they need to be shut down, and any other external threat that we, the Marshals, are going to be ensuring the end of.
I could not agree more with your approach, to be honest. I think, Nora, I would say it's fair to say it's been a source of frustration for me and yourself, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Over the last month or two at times. Although I will say, as I stated, I believe last week in the newspaper, it has gotten, I would say, slightly better since Mr. Pred became chief of police, as he's got a similar approach in terms of working with the press, but just for maybe slightly different ways of doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's nice to hear, frankly.
I mean, it's very simple, right? Who are we serving and protecting if not the people? And if the people don't know the why, are we really protecting them? Even protecting them from themselves? Because if we're not reaching out to them, you know who will? The faceless, the archivists, or any other entity. Once again, we cannot disenfranchise. We must include everyone as part of our story of protection and patriotism.
If you don't, a quick question I have, Mr. Knight. You mentioned the fact that you've had applications going through the roof, which is very exciting to hear. Me and Nora are all too familiar with the fact that you said about a rabbit in a hole, and I laughed to myself because quite often it's a phrase me and Nora use to describe investigating the faceless situation.
Oh yeah.
Sounds very much like you are operating in the here and now in terms of, you get information, you put something together very quickly, and you are starting to see results. Will you also have maybe someone investigating, or do you already have enough information to investigate the history of the faceless? As I would say, myself and Nora are firm believers, as well as the here and now with them. I would say it's very important to understand how we got to this point, to truly understand how they operate.
I'm glad you brought that up. As I mentioned, we've had to recreate everything because Gunner fucked off like the pussy he is. Possibly even with documents. We can't say with certainty because he will not answer our calls. He will not hand over his equipment. We've had to lean on the DOJ to regain our military equipment from him. He has not provided a debrief. He just fucked off.
Oh.
And as a consequence, my marshals have had to rebuild everything from scratch. And suffice to say, we already have. Every single report, every single detail has been recaptured.
You think, Nora, now might be a good time to mention that as we received a helicopter today, Gunnar Kane potentially could be a pilot for us moving forward, just for, transparency.
I would be very careful of him, and I'll say this very candidly. If you truly were a patriot, then you would not covet your position. As an ex-leader of the Sanguine War, who put his life on the line to fight for the sanctity of this state against external threats, I turned my badge in the next day. I walked into a panel in which I was asked, did you have probable cause for a Senate approved war? In that moment, I looked across the room, and everyone other than Tessa, I looked at a room full of idiots, ones that did not understand what the law meant. For context here, and I'm sure you are well aware, that you do not go to war based on probable cause. You go to war based on Senate approval. Senate approval that was based on a 25-page dossier, including a covert operation in which we had installed a covert operator within the upper echelon of the Sanguinian Order, in which they witnessed and documented cannibalism, the transportation of heroin, the transportation of C4, the one that killed the then chief of police, Sam Bass, the one that was explosives that were used to harass, threaten, and terrorize civilians working at the Rooster's Rest. And I can go on. But the moment I heard that and I realized that I was not looking at the face of patriots, but rather into the eyes of buffoons that were more interested in their positions, in their self-servingness, individuals who denied me and my detectives from interrogating and working with the 60 individuals I put into prison. So when we look back at that history and the 60 prisoners that I put in, I was denied being able to see them. They rotted in there for 60 years. Individuals that I myself would have likely released based on their cooperation and based on our understanding of involvement. But I had to turn in my badge that day because I was denied those abilities. And anyone that needed to approach me, I made sure that they had the information they needed. Gunnar did not do so. I would be very, very wary as to whose side he is truly on, because anyone can paint themselves as a patriot, but it's actions that matter. If he's willing to cut us off as brazenly as he did, you have to, I would very much ask yourself the question, what are his intentions as your pilot? And who does he truly work for?
I will be honest, it was kind of circumstances that led to him helping us yesterday with the helicopter. As I attempted to land the helicopter, let's just say it didn't go so well. And I will be taking flying lessons over the next couple of weeks. Okay.
I know that this is quite a bit to unpack.
I love it.
So, in fact, there's something that I think Chris should probably... Chris, you should tell him what happened with you in the director position, in the sake of transparency.
Yeah, so for the sake of transparency, the Marshals, of course, as you know or may not know, had 3 nominations. We had a chance to put forward 3 people three people's names for this director position. At no point in time, only until the very last day in the 11th hour did we actually have that meeting. And that meeting was scheduled on, or it wasn't even brought up until the morning of, and which I did not get that message until a little bit later, and so I showed up to the meeting late. And when I got from what I've also heard is it wasn't really even a meeting. When I got to the meeting, or quote unquote meeting, Gunnar had a rookie marshal speak for him as to not, I guess, make it sound like it was coming from his mouth, but whenever I was asked what name that I would put in, I wanted to put forward my name, and be transparent with you. I am a proponent of. We had the opportunity to put forward three names. It was told to me that the marshals had made a decision that we were only going to put forward one name from our own department, and that there were no other names that we, or shall I say, Gunnar felt comfortable putting forward. And when asked who made this decision, and apparently it was voted on, with me not being present there for that vote, I cannot confirm or deny if the vote even happened, or even what was even said. After talking to just a couple individuals after the fact, apparently he had reached out and had personal conversations with some of them to get their votes. But when I said, okay, well, I think that we should try to put forward as many names as we can, and was told, no, we don't want to split the vote. I was like, well, let's vote on not splitting the vote. And unfortunately, I was outvoted. So my name was brought forward. It just I did not win out the majority of the votes among the marshals. But it was all done in a very strange way. I felt very uncomfortable with it, and I walked into that meeting, felt like, okay, well, why am I even here if it doesn't even matter? Sounds like the decision has already been made. But there was no prior discussions about it, no planning, no nothing. It was very sloppy.
Jesus.
In regards to that, I would very much recommend having a chat with Yui and her experience. What happened to her could have been even more tragic. And I think the city, the people should know the truth. And I don't want to speak on behalf of her, but you can mention to her that Knight recommended, y'all speak about her experience with the nominations and the threat she was given.
Okay, we'll definitely do that.
Yeah, we've got a good relationship with Yui, haven't we, Nora? So we'll reach out.
Yeah.
Okay.
The proof in the pudding is why she put my name forward, right? Like I said, she can be a lot more specific on the details of what occurred.
Okay, we will reach out and look into it.
Yep.
Now, mind, is there anything else before I move on?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the like an article we could write about next week. Is there any other topics or anything else you'd like to discuss?
Up to
Anything
you.
that's on your mind?
Up to you, really. I think the for me the key thing is collaboration with the departments, but also extending to the DOJ, the public, etc. The second is, you know, obviously there literally has been jack shit done about recently with the faceless. The ball was dropped. We have rebuilt everything from the ground up and continue to do so. You'll start seeing more things happening in that space. And I think the third really is we are looking for people that are passionate about investigating and understand and fit the role of patriotic, as we will be opening our doors for recruitment, specifically with those that have law enforcement experience already, so that they can hit the ground running. Our door is always open, right? Obviously, we need to be careful about certain knowledge that is disclosed, but we are not looking to be a vault, you know what I mean, that no one else except one or two people can walk into.
Yeah, okay. That sounds perfect. There are definitely a few other things I would like to discuss, but quite frankly, these will be things that I would deem to be off the record, frankly. But if there's anything else, Nora, in terms of the interview that you'd like to speak of?
With that, we're good. I think,
Yeah,
I think that's enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Hell
Quite
yeah.
frankly, we've got fucking loads to go after there, haven't we? Next week's newspaper, 45 pages.
Oh
no,
my
please,
God.
No, please. It takes like 1,000,000 pages to write that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're good with 22.
Look, I would love for an article on Sanguine and what my POV in the future. I think it'd be very interesting.
So
yeah.
Can I? Okay. So that